was the first time I was ever running a 100-mile race. I was at mile like 35 or something and just complaining in my head like, oh, this sucks, blah, 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 this is hard. I mean, I can't think of an ultra where I've actually not said, why am I doing this? Some people play video games for a living, that sounds like fun. This guy comes running by me and I looked over and he was as older as my great-grandpa. And I started talking to him and he was 80. And this was his 10th year to finish this 100-mile race, or it would be his 10th year to finish this 100-mile race. And he did finish. And that was just so impressive to me. I was like, man, it's just about just putting your mind to it and putting one foot in front of the other. It doesn't matter how old you are. None of that matters once you get out there. My name's Josue Stephens. I'm an ultra marathon runner. I also direct ultra marathon events internationally, and I work a little bit for Spartan Race, an obstacle course racing company, and so a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm an athlete and a director. Yeah, so Ultra Fuego y Agua it's an ultra marathon event. It's got a 25-kilometer, 50-kilometer, and 100-kilometer distance. And this year we've actually added something called the Survival Run that's 70 kilometers. And it's going to have a lot of obstacles and challenges with it. They're all nature-based challenges. So swims, building your own raft. I mean, they're going to be some pretty incredible challenges, and that's kind of appealing to a completely different group of people than just the ultra marathoner. We actually will take donated running shoes and we'll bring them down. So the day after the ultra marathon events, all of the runners that came down will participate, and we'll have a kids race. It's usually about 2 or 3 kilometers long. All the kids receive a donated pair of shoes and a shirt and a medal from donated from Marathon Kids. And we had 450 kids in 2012, February 2012, and we're planning on over 500 this year. So we're super excited about that. What keeps me coming back is that once I did my first one or my second one, I realized there was a point where I used to think my body had a limit. Okay, I can't break past that point. Once I went past that, I realized, well, where's the limit now? When do I just fall over or fall asleep or pass out? And it didn't happen, and I just kept going and going and going. And as long as, you know, I take care of my body, nutrition-wise and all of that, I can keep going. So you're always trying to find the next limit, and that's why ultras are so addictive. You just want to keep pushing your body and finding out just how far you can go with endurance. It also translates into all other parts of your life. So as soon as you do something, you realize, wow, there's no limit to this, I can just keep going. You do that in other things in your professional life, whatever that may be. Just for me too, the idea in 2008 when I decided to do this ultra marathon in Nicaragua, you know, running was something that hardly any people really did in Nicaragua. If they did, it was like track or cross country, something like that, and usually in the city. So when I said I'm going to put an ultra marathon on this island, and people said, how? You're not a race director, you don't have a big company backing you, what are you going to do? And it's kind of that same thing. You put this real big goal, I'm going to run 100 miles and I'm just going to go until it can go no longer. Since then, you know, that's kind of translated into all other aspects of my life. Now it's like, okay, I want to put a race on here, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. Nothing's impossible. You try pretty much anything, and that's one of the ways that it's really affected my life. People think when you run an ultra marathon that you're some kind of a Superman or superhero or something like that, and I think, well, anyone can do it. It's all in your head. A lot of people think it's all physical, so you have to be some kind of Olympic athlete to even get started. It doesn't matter who you are or what kind of shape you're in. I mean, as long as you're in decent athletic shape. If you're out there on the trail, there's a certain point where your body just starts to say no, and your mind has to take over and push on. But no, I mean, if you want to do ultra marathons, decide that you want to do an ultra and start running and start applying yourself to it. And yeah, I think anybody could. I mean, I think people could come off the street and go do an ultra marathon if they had a strong enough mind to do it. And I guess that's one of the things I always tell people. I said, you can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. It's not for everyone, obviously, but it is one of the coolest experiences you'll ever have.